prehensile tongue. Whoa, big word, right? Not really, it just means it can wrap around or grasp something just like our hands. Now remember the word prehensile because it will be coming up again a little bit later on. What word are we going to remember? Prehensile. Yeah, good. Okay, remember that word. And over here on our right at the very top of the hill are some light brown. The greater kudu, the second largest antelope. And I know that all three of those are female horns. Let's come right around here. Over to our left, a very rare sight nowadays, my friends, the black rhino. Yeah, there's less than 5,000 of them left in the entire world due to habitat loss and poaching. They have no natural predators. Unfortunately, my friends, their main predators are humans, which is very, very sad to say. And they are being poached each and every day just for their horns to be sold on the black market. Looks like there are some more kudu over here to our right. Since they're not at the top of the hill there. You know, over by the Maji. Over here to our left, copper-colored animal called bongos. Yes, like the drum. Yeah, the bongos are also nicknamed the ghosts of the forest because they are rarely ever seen. Very, very shy animals and very, very good at camouflage. So a lot of the time during the day, you won't be able to see them at all. Now, I mentioned about them being by Maji. No, I'm not just making up words. Maji is actually Swahili for water. That also probably means that there is a larger water source up ahead, like a river or something. Geographically speaking, we should be coming up somewhere along the Safi River. Safi River is home to some different kinds of animals like the white-breasted cormorant, the pink-backed pelican, the Nile crocodile, and the Nile hippopotamus. There's actually a hippo over on the bank to our right. Bloat spelled B-L-O-A-T, group name for kiboko, kiboko being the Swahili word for hippopotamus. One of the largest but categorized as the most dangerous animals in Africa because they are extremely territorial. Spending most of their days submerged underwater, sometimes up to 8 minutes at a time. Coming back up, but only for a quick second to take a deep breath and going right back down. Now, speaking of taking deep breaths, go and take a nice deep breath in for me through your nose. That smells great, doesn't it? Yeah, it's probably defecation from a hippo tending back their territory. You are welcome. Right in the middle of the river here, there is an island, and right in the middle of that island are some pink-backed pelicans, those white and grayish birds that you see there. Pink-backed pelicans are the smallest of the 7 species of pelican. They get their name from the rosy pink coloring that appears on their back during mating season, which for them could occur at any time throughout the year. We'll wait till this little guy gets out of the road here. Awesome. Whoa. Yeah, over here to our left, we're coming up with some crocodiles, Nile crocodiles to be exact. Nile crocodiles can grow to be between 18 to 20 feet long. To put that into perspective for you all, that's about the size of a giraffe. As you can see, there are a couple of them with their mouths hanging wide open. No, they're not ready for you to fall in. I'm not that bad of a driver. They actually do that to get the hot air out of them and the cool air flowing right through to regulate their body temperature. Now when they're on land, they can run to speeds of about 10 miles per hour, and good old simple one here goes a whopping 8. Now as we come around this turn, if you want to take a look over to your right, you are going to see a very large, different looking kind of tree called the baobab tree, also known as the upside down tree because it looks like its roots are quite literally on the top. Now this also marks your entrance into a completely different ecosystem known as the savannah. Savannah is home to some of Africa's more famous animals like lions, giraffes, zebras, cheetahs, elephants, hyenas, wildebeest, and cool cow. Really cool animals. Now this turn that we're taking here is what we like to call the savannah overlook, and well, you can see why. Go ahead and take a look out to your left. See a tower of giraffes, but other than that, not a whole lot of animal activity, but it's a really incredible view, isn't it? Now it is views like this, reasons like this, that reserves like this are established so we can research, preserve, and protect every living thing that you see out here, whether it's the animal or even just their habitat. Now we're going to talk a little bit about those conservation efforts and different things that we can do to get involved a little bit later on when we start to wrap things up. I'd say in about a week or two. Alright, now it does look like there's a den up ahead here to our left. Any ideas of what could be hanging around this den? No ideas? You don't have to raise your hand, sweetheart. You can just yell it out.
Animals.
Yeah, good. Animals. Do you know what kind of animals? No? That's okay. We'll find out. What? The one that lives. Yeah. Yeah, good. Good. I hope so, because that's the point of this reserve. Now, if you look straight out to our left, up against the rock, while some African wild dogs, also known as the painted dog. Now, they are really, really cute, but as cute as they are extremely terrifying. Yeah, they have one of the highest hunting success rates in all of Africa. With a success rate of about 90%, they are better hunters than most big cats like lions and cheetahs. They only have 4 toes, but despite having those 4 toes, they run their prey to exhaustion. Dun, dun, dun! Yeah, they're all as key now, aren't they? They're African wild dogs. African wild dogs. Yeah. Now over here to our left, big group of gray animals, white-bearded wildebeest. Always found in big groups like this, being that they are the largest migration. They're also constantly on the move. So, when a white-bearded wildebeest is born, it has about 15 minutes to learn how to walk before its parents leave it behind. Yeah, talk about adulting, huh? Growing up fast. Now we're going to be passing right in between this Tower of Twiga. Tower spelled T-O-W-E-R, group named for Twiga. Twiga being the Swahili word for giraffe. These are all Maasai giraffes. We know it's because of their jagged edge pattern. No 2 giraffe patterns are ever the same. They are all very unique, just like our fingerprints. Now when we were back by the crocodiles, I told you about how tall a giraffe can get. Does anybody remember? 18 to 20 feet tall. Mine is about 1.5 feet of their tongue. The tongues are very, very long, about 18 inches. Now, I told you to remember this word. Do you remember the word for that kind of tongue? No. It's prehensile. Again, just means it can wrap around or grasp something just like our hands. Now, their tongues are long enough to where they could lick their eyeballs and pick their nose. Yeah, disclaimer, please don't try them at home, it's gross. Every now and then you can find a reticulated giraffe or 2 on the Savannah or the Serengeti Plains, but the most common type of giraffe is the Maasai giraffe, which are those that we are seeing now. Hi, sweetheart! I know, she's like, oh wait, there were people moving. I think she's learning how to stand still. As you can see that, yeah. Now we're the specific, wow, words are hard for me. The specific part of the savannah that we are driving into is called the Serengeti Plains, or grasslands, which runs for hundreds and hundreds of miles. Of course, the reserve only takes up a small part of that, and that's what we're going to be driving through here today. Now, as we drive deeper into the grasslands, you may have noticed some tall red, orange, and brown structures that we've been driving in between. Termite mounds made of mud, dirt, clay, dung, and termite saliva. When built up and baked in the sun, they can become hard as concrete. Bigger animals like elephants like to use them as scratching posts. They usually knock them over and wear them down. When they're worn down, smaller animals like to use them as lookouts. Now, straight out to our right, in those palm trees, are some cows with very, very long horns. Those are Ankole cattle, also known as Watusi cattle, named after the indigenous Watusi tribe that domesticated them. Those are the only domesticated animals that you'll be able to find out here in the reserve. The horns can grow to be between 3 and 6 feet long, but as heavy as they look, they're actually a honeycomb structure on the inside, so they're very, very light. They also have blood vessels that run all the way to the tippy top of their horns, and that is what they use as their cooling system. Now, over on the other side of these rocks here, there's an old camping ground that everybody likes to call Monkey Point for some reason. Apparently, a couple years ago, some monkeys took the place over and ran the place down. Actually, that's probably why they call it Monkey Point. It's now home to some mandrills, which are the largest and most colorful species of monkey. The male can grow to be about 100 pounds, while the female only weighs about 30. Alright, now we're going to go around here and see if we can get a good view of them. Let's see, you can still see some of those camping supplies hanging from the trees. Although I don't see anything monkeying around right now except for a squirrel by the bush, and I'm really sorry, I don't know much about those. But over to our right there is a tembo. Tembo is the Swahili word for elephant. Now that is a male bull elephant. We know that because he's on his own. When they're about 13, the males will get kicked out of the herds. They go off on their own. Sometimes form bachelor herds, while the female do tend to stick together. Now he is probably a very good indication that we are coming close to Tembo country. Tembo, once again, being the Swahili word for elephant. So we're going to keep on moving, see if we can find another large clearing like that. Maybe some footprints in the dirt, red clay, tusk marks. Oh, wait a second. This has got to be that sign that my friend Will's been telling me about. Okay, so apparently this sign right here is really, really old. It was left behind by one of the tribes that he's staying around here before the reserve was established back in 1971. It's a very, very old sign with a very old Swahili phrase written on it that reads, Road Closid. That translates to, wow, what a beautiful view. But unfortunately, my friends, my favorite shortcut road to Tamil country has been washed away by all the rain we've been getting here. So we're gonna keep moving this way. Since most of you have been with us before, you may know this bridge we're about to go over has had some issues in the past. Totally okay now. We put some duct tape and zip ties on it. There are some ropes holding up the loose ends. They said as long as you go pulley, that's Swahili for very slow, we shouldn't have an issue at all. Take a deep breath, hang on tight. Honestly, just ignore the sound when we first get on here. It is a little bit off-putting, but hey, Hakuna Matata, we'll get through it together. See, it's not that bad. That, on the other hand, that's a little new, but I'm sure we'll be... Oh, no, 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 no! I don't like it! I don't like it! Okay, yay! We made it! Yeah. I told you bro would be okay. You can never go wrong with duct tape and zip ties. They fix everything. Now, if you look on either side of us, my friends, there's a whole lot of fresh test marks in the clay here, suggesting that there was a whole herd of elephants really close really recently. They'll love to do their tests in the clay like that. Sometimes they will even eat it because it provides them with some essential vitamins and minerals. This is probably a herd of female. From what I've seen, they all look older than 13. And they are still one big herd. Now, as you pass by them, if you want to take a look at their backs, they have a lot of dirt, a little bit of hay thrown up there. As thick as elephant skin is, it is extremely sensitive and it can get sunburnt just as easily as ours. They like to throw that dirt and hay up on their backs and it acts as a sunscreen for them. You can also see them occasionally flapping their ears back and forth. No, they are not trying to fly, I promise you. None of them are Dumbo. They actually have blood vessels that run all the way through their ears, so when they flap their ears, it gets the blood flowing through them and keeps them nice and cooled off. Now, the gestation period for an elephant is about 22 months, so you all thought 9 months was bad? Imagine being an elephant. And when one's born, they're born at about 300 to 500 pounds each. Yeah, very, very large babies. And you get a good look at her. Like there's quite a few of them out here. I'm going to explain the large clearing here. Over in the second watering hole to our left, there is a whole flamboyance of greater flamingo. Flamboyance is yet again another group term, but a group term for flamingo. The greater flamingo being the largest and lightest species of flamingo, and I'm sure at one point or another you've probably heard where they get their pink coloring, right? Shrimp. Yeah, shrimp. They get their pink coloring from their diet of bright shrimp and things. All of that beta carotene. I'll talk about them in just a second. If you take a look over here to our right, there is a very large light brown antelope. That is a Patterson eland, the largest species of antelope. They can grow to be about 6 feet tall from their hooks to their shoulder blades, and when scared, they can leap 8 feet straight in the air from a stand-still position. Alright, now back to these lovely flamingos over here. Do you guys see all those little gray puff balls kind of close to us? Those are baby flamingos. Yeah, really, really cute. Now, if you see on the island, kind of in front of and to the left of the trees, there's a very, very small one that's hatched about 3 or 4 days ago. Now, the biggest one that's kind of floating around in the water there to the left was hatched a little under 2 weeks ago. So you can see just about how fast those flamingos grow. It's crazy. 2 reasons why I pointed them out to you. One, because, well, they are really cute little gray puff balls. And 2, it's because it's a really special time for the reserve. It's the first time in over 8 years that these flamingos have laid eggs. So really, really awesome. Now there's a mud pit up ahead here to our left. See? Wonderful gathering spot for white rhinos. They love to roll around in mud pits like this. Not only does it keep them cool, but it kind of gives them an extra layer of protection from the sun. Kind of like the elephants use the dirt and hay. Ice is a sunscreen for them. Now this is a whole crash of rhinos. Crash spelled C-R-A-S-H, group name for rhinos. Now see how their ears are already kind of turning toward us, turning away from us, maybe turning back toward us? That's because they're almost completely blind, very, very poor eyesight. They use the sound to kind of navigate or gauge what's around them. Anything that they do not recognize, they will charge. And they can charge to speeds of about 35 miles per hour, which doesn't sound very fast until you have a 5,000-pound white rhino running after you. And then suddenly it's a whole lot faster, and I will pray for you all. Now, white rhinos are significantly wider and heavier than black rhinos. They also have a wider set mouth that helps them graze in lower areas like grass and lower branches on trees and bushes. Now you're probably looking at them and you're probably like, Victoria, why are they white rhinos? They kind of look gray. Well, in Afrikaans it was vite with a V meaning wide, pertaining to their mouth. When it was translated over to English, there was actually a mistranslation. They thought they said white, therefore they named them white rhinos. She's about to get real mad at this male over here. They don't like each other. So yeah, I told ya. Yep. So the first one that got up there was actually a mother, and the other two that were with her are her two daughters. She doesn't like the male. The male's name is Frankie. They don't like each other because before Frankie's horn got shaved, he was very, very mean to them. So they don't get along now. I knew that was coming. Now it does look like we're about to come up on a very tall rock structure called a kopje. Kopje spelled K-O-P-J-E. Does anyone know who likes to hang around kopies? Lions, right. Now, don't worry if you can't see one today, being that they are nocturnal animals, very, very active at nighttime. But sometimes we'll get lucky. Sometimes they'll be resting out on top of the kopje. If not, it's just a really great excuse to come back and ride a nighttime safari. Not only are no two safaris ever the same, the animals and the drivers make sure of that. But it's really cool to see the behavioral differences with these animals between the daytime and the nighttime safaris. And sometimes the lions will even get vocal, which is really, really cool to hear. So I highly suggest coming back for that to say about 9:15 when it gets dark out here. It's around the time they start getting up, moving around, and like I said, sometimes they'll even get vocal, which is really, really awesome. Now, lions spend between 16 to 20 hours a day resting. The rest of the time they spend hunting. The lioness is the one to do the hunting, while the male will usually sit back, watch over, and protect his pride. Pride is what they call a group of lions, and they are very, very protective of their families. Now, does anybody know what the Swahili word for lion is? Yeah, you're right, it's Simba. Simba is Swahili for lion. So Mufasa gets the award for the most uncreative name ever. He named us a lion. But speaking of Simba, if you take a look over here to our left, there is a hairy rock with tusks. That's a warthog. Yeah, the largest of burrowing animals. They use those big tusks on the side of their face, but they actually have two sets of tusks. One is just a lot smaller on the bottom jaw. It helps them when they eat. Now, I hate to break it to you, my friends, Pumbaa is not Swahili for warthog. It's only Swahili for foolish. Yeah, I know, right? Poor Pumbaa, huh? He kind of gets the short end of the stick there. And over here to our right, some of you pointed out the first time, some ostrich, the largest species of bird. Although they have very big wings, they cannot fly. They use those wings to change direction while they're running up to speeds of about 40 miles per hour, and they terrify me. Now, those dark brown antelope that are with the ostrich are the bontebok, one of my favorite animals, and also a very special animal for the reserve. They have two of them, as you can see, but at one point there were only 17 of them found in the wild. And now the only place you can find them is on reserves like this one. You can no longer find them out in the wild. Unfortunately, my friends, they are completely extinct out there, which is very, very sad to say. Now, with that being said, we are about to enter one of the final areas on the reserve called the Magadi Glen. It's another highly vegetated ecosystem and home to another one of my favorite animals out here, which is the scimitar horned oryx. Yeah, they are a desert-dwelling animal, so they can go a remarkable amount of time without drinking a single sip of water, sometimes 9 to 10 months at a time, getting all of the fluids they need from the fluids they eat. Plus, the white on their coat helps reflect the sun away from them so they don't get overheated. Their horns are how they get their name, resembling the curvature of a Middle Eastern scimitar sword. Now, their horns are also very, very fragile, and once they break off, they do not grow back, which made them a great target for poachers. And back in 2015, my friends, these animals, too, were officially announced extinct out in the wild. Up until about a month ago, actually, they were re-released back in the wild, and now there's over 4,000 of them, and their numbers are still growing very, very quickly. They have a really awesome success story. But unfortunately, my friends, I can't say the same about the rest of these animals. As incredible as each and every one of them are, they are all in trouble and are slowly fading away from our planet. A lot of it, as you've heard, due to poaching. But a lot of it's also due to habitat loss. And there are quite a few things we can do to at least help out with that. And some things as simple as recycling. Although recycling is very, very easy, there are so many things beyond that we can do to help out. So maybe when you get a chance, take a look at some different local conservation efforts, things that are going on in your area that you can do to get involved with. Or even just educate yourself just a bit if you don't know much about it. And if you don't, that's totally okay, because before I started this job, I didn't either. To be completely honest with you all, I could have cared less. But a very wise man did once say, you've probably heard people talking about conservation. Well, conservation is not just the business of a few of us, conservation is a matter that concerns all of us. That wise man, my friends, was Walt Disney, and boy was he right. We want to do our best to make sure that these animals stay safe so they can stick with us forever. And we don't just end up a picture of a couple years down the road. But unfortunately, my friends, we are approaching my least favorite part of the entire safari, and that is the end. So go ahead and check your own. Make sure you have all of your personal belongings with you. If you do have any questions, comments, or just want to chat with me afterward, please feel free to. I promise I don't bite. Just head right up to my first row. We're just gonna wait. Actually, we're gonna go right around this way so we can go ahead and duck. Please, like I said, do you have any questions, just head right up to my first row, okay? Make sure you have everything you need. Don't leave anything behind. But once again, my friends, my name is Victoria. If you had a good time, if not, it's Robin. And here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye, so we like to tell each other to go well.